Um, who knows, maybe even the last one. Hopefully it is. Probably it won't be. Well, of course not, because Ukraine war is still ongoing. Putin's going to keep going until he runs out of tanks. He's slotted himself into a position he can't get out of. In the previous recording, I was speaking about, first off, um, concerning Draven, Stravitas, and Prince's agent, gay guy in Washington. He placed his hand on, violated my, he assaulted me as their agent, which means he assaulted the sovereign space of the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and the Commonwealth of Nations. This is McRaven doing his little BS. And oddly enough, keeps proving the statement or the structure I said of their mind structure, where where bigots try to externalize onto Black African Americans nefariousness and use and devalue the heterosexual male of the Black African American community. So there are not any leaders within the community. It's they feminized the entire Black African American community, which is becomes a taker community. This is how one of the ways they've completely destroyed their community. They, Black African Americans actually just enslaved themselves. Well, they don't might not like it. I'm not here for their like. McRaven and then Stravitas, as Stravitas straight said, "You want to come for the king? You want to be the if you're gonna come for the king, don't miss. Not a problem." You see, a week ago, well, not approximately a week ago, I stated on my Facebook page, I sent a letter to the Department of Defense Inspector General. Now, I didn't send it yet because what happens is I knew, as the saying goes, the cover up was what always gets you. And McRaven pulled back and he was doing his thing as he was covering up his actions. Therefore, taking anything that happened in time, early 2000s forward, pushing it forward, and also showing the DoD who his networks are, or still are within the DoD. That includes Travitas and Eric Prince, because the whole thing about Blackwater is Blackwater was stood up as a it's like basically the Wagner Group, but where it was being used as State Department, it was actually its main purpose was to train, keep shock troops for these white Christian nationalists, as have been and are being used. These people are traitors. They're traitors to the Constitution, and they're trying to overthrow the crown of Great Britain and uh, and the Constitution of the United States of America. King Charles is trying to worm his way out of the situation he's put himself in, thinking he is in great control, but he's not. He's trying to pull all his brothers, both of them, King Duke of Edinburgh and Andrew, his sister, Princess Anne, have signaled they are willing to go along with the situation. He just didn't know they were. Prince William, on the other hand, is, well, just recently, even though, however reticent, I can understand it. It's like, who's this dude? So I'm not really upset. But the time to act is now. I finished the letter, and I'll be sending it as soon as I get done with this recording to the Prime Minister so it can be forwarded to Prince Harry while he's in London, if he's still in London. A year ago, on the 8th, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth passed away, or more precisely, was assassinated via psychological and psychic means on the behest of King Charles and Queen Camilla, aided and abetted on the direction of Admiral McRaven, former SEAL, and now Eric Prince and Admiral Strickvitas, because they were all working in concert. And possibly the President of the United States, Joe Biden. What is going on in this present time is these old money families have been working for decades. The South is trying to rise again and destroy the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution was written to hold tyrants at bay, to keep them from gaining power. That's why you have the separations of power. We know the 2025 project. These forces on the far right want to create what's called a unitary executive. That's just a fancy way of saying a dictatorship. Now they're put out, oh, let, we'll get rid of Trump, use the 14th Amendment. It's like a fig leaf. And the reality is, what matters is, from a constitutional perspective, Congress has to be held accountable for not holding the president accountable for inciting and directing an insurrection. These families want to overthrow the Constitution, and the Democrats are being idiotic, thinking they know how to lose, that's for sure. They know how to take a victory from the jaws. They had how to put victory into the jaws of defeat, that's for sure. But they want to keep playing the whole, as their politicians, instead of telling the American people how serious this is, they are about to lose. We are about to lose our government unless we, the people, demand our government back. Regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. Because most Republicans, at least those on the ground, most average Republicans who has not been brainwashed by Trump, because from these big money perspectives, Trump's done an excellent job. Did exactly what they needed him to do, what they wanted him to do. In this letter, it's being sent to Prince Harry, which will be posted on my Facebook page, of course. If Prince Harry does not state this, does not, when the royal family do not contain King Charles III, then this is over. Because I'm tired of my life being broadcast. I'm tired of this. This is bullshit. The President of the United fucking States is violating my civil and constitutional rights. It has been. The true terrorists are these families. It's no wonder Joe Biden signed the crime bill. He was just as much part of the destruction of the Black American community. And right now, thinking, well, I can help him. You can't undo the mess by doing the same shit that you got you into the mess in the first place. My brother and my sister-in-law cannot be anywhere near the royal family because it would give the statement that you can be just a piece of crap and gain royal favor. It also would maintain the structure, psychological structure of Black Americans. When I was back home, as soon as my brother started being my brother that I remember as a kid, my sister-in-law started her shit up, and then McRaven got in there, and it's just like, how weak are you? It was just pathetic to watch my mom when I asked her why did she attack us, why did she attack her children, and she couldn't answer. Well, she could answer, but she did answer, but it was a psychic answer. She basically is just reliving the situation that was going on when when she was young, and my step grandmother and all these other women were all around. She's an abusive person. She's good at hiding it. Well, I buried her years ago. You McRaven has been for punishment, destroying my connections, my social, violating my First Amendment rights. And I bet you they were giddy when they were getting Obama to do that, sign off on it. I scare the living crap out of these people just by being me. That's why he keeps pushing out that whole his whole gay agenda, and the president keeps going with it, so thinks he can get elected with it. As far as I'm concerned, if it was somebody else besides Trump, I would vote for him and DeSantis because that just disgusts me. Because he's doing the exact same thing. He's just continuing. President Biden is just continuing the same narrative, the same bullshit narrative that keeps Black Americans enslaved, keeps them effeminized. I have such contempt. the Biden administration. Disgust. When I said when I very first one, I was like, yeah, dude, people are whatever, bro, no biggies. And then last week they said that faggot assaults me. Well, last week, yeah. So they can get a picture to make him look like he's fucking sucking me off. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, and you're not supposed to be angry. Fuck you. You've used my name, abused me for 2 fucking years. And they might say, well, you wouldn't be. I don't give a fuck. I was prepared to die. You are nothing more than a puppet, Mr. President. And you're not a puppet of the people. From a metaphysical point, you're stealing my soul energy, and that's not going to happen. I don't care if you die. That's not my problem. If Kamala Harris can't pick it up off the ground, then hey, the nation dies. Because if this behavior continues, it's going to die anyways. And you won't put that on my head. Right now, they're trying to give up the 14th Amendment so they can say, oh, block Trump, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. That's not the problem. Blocking Trump is just a short term fix to give people something to say, oh, something was done, while in the meantime, maintaining action to keep the Constitution null and void by not having Congress assert itself and kicking out those persons who allowed Trump to stage an insurrection. And the Democrats are everything that Trump said they were: suckers, cowardly fucking suckers, controlled by these old money families and the gangs and cartels. So why would any European American want to trust and the fucking freaks? Why would any American working class dude want to do anything with to do with the Democratic Party? Especially if you view yourself as a man's man, and then there's, oh, their hero's a gay guy. Well, fuck that. I don't want to be like that. Even if they're not a bigot, because I sure as fuck am not. And they're gonna slice that sentence up and try to say that I'm over your shit. Prince Harry does not have the courage to stand up to his father. The royal family does not have the courage to stand up to King Charles III. Let the pieces fall where they may. Not my circus, not my monkeys. But if he does, I will do what I say I will do. It's not what I wanted. I just wanted to be snowboarding, mountain biking, and living my life. Graven has interfered with my life. He has interfered with people, friends, possible lovers, gorgeous women, women, kick-ass people that are just like, hey, dude, because he can't be who I am. He's such a shite human being and should have never rose to admiral. and he would not have if it wasn't for the fact that he was tapped to overthrow the Constitution. Him and Strivitas. Anyways, everything seems to be going all right in Ukraine. Not really. They're slow going. Putin's grabbed, for the moment has gained a stronger grip on power, but that grip might be fleeting. The problem is you have the West who want to break up the Russian Republic, Russian Federation, which would be silly. China is watching this war as closely as everyone else in this world is. Meanwhile, they're still doing the machinations in South America and Africa. That's just holding on to Africa as thinly as possibly can. You have the situation in Niger. You're the French still trying to maintain hold of, well, mostly because of banking. You just change the banking system, they can relieve a lot of these problems. Change it to where the banks are not held in France because France is just using all the those African nations to back their own currency. At 50%, that means their the fractional reserve. France uses their money as a fraction as their fraction for their fractional reserve on their own banking, and they're just squeezing and then squeezing the old colonies. They should have a central, and then forcing them to use the Afrique franc or whatever the heck it is, pegging it to the European. It's just that whole banking thing is a bunch of bullshit. It should be the banks within Africa. France can hold part of its reserve within that bank, and then they have their own central uh, board, reserve board acting in concerto, and all the countries have to hold kind of like doing like the euro, but not what France is doing. What France is doing is just pure exploitation, and nobody with any sense of fairness can say, "Yeah, that's cool." No, that's pure crap. You want to stop this war? It's coming in Africa. Fix the banking system. France will still grow rich, but because the other countries are not going to be allowed, like, hey, dude, you're screwing up our system by being a bunch of dipshits. Especially, you know, and start through other means creating growth of the rest of the continent. We won't have to go to the World Bank, which is all the things that the West has done to uh, so these colonies really sucks. I get it from a power perspective, but it really sucks. And for right now, especially Great Britain, we can't do that anymore. And if those old money families think they're going to pull that bullshit off, yeah, we'll say, oh, we got Canada and Australia. Yeah, well, Canada might have a tough time leaving, but Australia's like they're ready to dip. If it wasn't for China, they probably might. But then you have the other African nations and other old trading, old colonies that could be trading partners, such as India, but they want to be trading partners on equal footing, or at least sort of equal footing. Yeah, of course, like India could be, that'd be a dangerous situation as well. Maybe 30 years, it might try to pull a China. You never know. But for right now, because right now they're going through this Hindu nationalism, which is just another form of what's going on here about Christian nationalism. Right now, what's going on in Ukraine seems all right, sort of. That's as long as this spark stays contained. France doesn't get its head out of its ass, and conflagration happens in Africa. And the United States doesn't lead the world with more than lip service and actually hold the president to account, or in this case, both the president and the persons who allow them off, the Congress, we're fucked. And yes, once the royal family states what is that, yes, I am Her Majesty's sovereign champion. You're not going to be able to talk your way out of it, everything, Strivitas and McRaven. You're just private citizens. You might say, well, we'll get these other corporations and fine. You do you, but I'm going to do what I got to do. Because to not put you in your place would be a sign of weakness, and it would signal to other psychopaths, the United States and Great Britain lack conviction, which is what you want. Spiraling the world into chaos so evil can feed. This is all on you now, Prince Harry. The thing that's going to happen, what they'll try to do, is they'll say, okay, Prince Harry, say yes, and blah, 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 and then we'll do it. No. What's going to happen is you're going to say the royal family, one of the royal families will say, yes, this is what is true. Yes, he is Her Majesty's sovereign champion. And everything will be set up the way I dictate. Because everything, if you do it my way, you will gain more power, but it will be quiet and it will be out of their reach. And I'm not dumb enough not to. I was well aware you don't overstep your patronage. But I knew always from every time in my life, this is one of the things my mom would always pull. I'd get something, get it to pieces, and you see it, see what McRaven is doing presently. Pull that thread and fuck the whole thing up. You do things my way, your family will live. My way ends once Prince King Charles officially confers the title, Her Majesty finishes with the grant that Her Majesty of the title Her Majesty conferred. But that won't happen until the Constitution is righted. And then from the capital perspective, That's something where on the surface to others will look like I'm the one with the most amount of cash, but in the reality, it will not be that way. But you have to do it in the way that I tell you. If I'm going to take the heat, I'm going to take the heat my way. That's why I said. That's why I said, and she agreed. I will do this as an American. Now they've already tried to play. McRaven's tried. Well, we'll give you a commission. I'm like, nope. That was that whole third thing that's right. Well, third, fourth, whatever. Can't take any honors or blah blah blah. If you pull an officership, I'm just a regular citizen. They want to hand me a commission. They'll do so after King Charles grants my title at Duke of Edinburgh or higher. I wish you well. It would be great to meet you, Prince Arian, Princess Anne, Lady Markle. But if not, if no one has the courage, it is what it is. But do not be surprised the day hell and terror come through. Evil exists when good people do nothing. They lull you into a sleep and strike. But when they strike, they are already in a bad position. Now is the time to act. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth trusts in me because she also knows you didn't spend 50 years or how many years? Yeah, 50 something years on the throne, not learn a few things about people. My selfish best interest aligns and will always align. We do it my way. We do it her way. We'll align with the crown, not and the throne, not the person, not the king or the queen. Because this is beyond them. This is hundreds of years out into the future. This is a moment that sets the next several hundred years. If King Charles gets his way, he'll fuck it up. And the crown of Great Britain will be gone within 100. You do it my way. But then again, let history be the judge. Slava Ukraine, may the flag forever wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave.